I'm Healing Wolf, here to walk with you through the jungles of recovery. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose together, then another little sip, then a slow exhale. How do you know if your chronic pain is neuroplastic or generated in your limbic system? The first way to know, and a way that's a little bit tricky, is to go get medical tests, which can actually cause more fear and medicalization, as happens with a lot of folks, with clients I've worked with myself. But it's great to have a baseline to work with by getting some scans, getting some checkups, and knowing, okay, these sensations are not coming from a broken bone, a cancer, a parasite, a bite from a wild animal, some kind of a disease process, right? So some of the scans might have some abnormal or normal abnormalities, as Dr. Sarno said, but that's just part of the journey. They're just wrinkles on the inside. So if the doctor basically says, I can't figure out why you're having this much pain, like you don't have anything going on with your body that should be creating this amount of pain, then that's one of the ways to know that you're dealing with neuroplastic pain. So if you've had the symptom for more than 6 months, or I call it sensation rather than a symptom because it's a sensation of protection from unconscious mind generated to keep you alive so that you survive. So another way to know that you're dealing with neuroplastic sensations is that they're diverse, so that they show up in different parts of your body. They might show up as a headache, they might show up as a backache. You might have one that's there all the time, as I did, which would be like back and leg pain, but then I also had gastritis, I also had arrhythmia, I also had POTS, I also had, just thinking of all the sensations, I had the allodynia, I had chronic fatigue. So many of these sensations were layering on top of each other, and then they would move as well. Like when I first started to drive again after a year of being bedbound, I noticed that the pain moved to the other side. So that's a real indication that it's a neuroplastic condition you're dealing with and not a physical medical issue. So also, next is if your sensations get a lot worse when you're stressed. So the stress can come from anywhere. It can come from family issues, financial issues, relationship issues. It can come from death. It can come from tragedy. It can come from too much time on the internet. It can come from job stuff, any kind of stress. In my journey, I had a lot of crazy, traumatic stuff going on. Okay, so like I had 3 family members die. It was during COVID, so friends died of COVID. I had just like this fear built up around it. I had a neighbor impale himself, jumped off a wall and impaled on a post. A lot of traumatic stuff happening, and I remember just how the sensations would spike, and so it was just more evidence. I already knew what I was dealing with, but it just made it clearer and clearer. So another way you can know that your sensations are probably protective sensations coming from unconscious mind or are neuroplastic, which means brain change, is that you had a tough childhood. So tough is relative, but in my case, a divorce when I was 5, tension between my biological parents, new stepdad who was abusive, his mood swings and volatility, my father's volatility, my mother's negativity. There were just some different things going on, and when I look back on it, my little nervous system was getting tuned up for survival, which meant high alert, which meant stomach aches, leg pain, what they called like growing pains. There were a bunch of pains and headaches. I mean, there were a bunch of those signs. I didn't know as a kid, but that's another sign that you had a tough childhood or you had a traumatic event. When I work with clients, oftentimes the sensations will drop after clearing a traumatic event. So it may have been an abusive situation, may have been like in my life, there was fist fights, there were times where I just felt like I couldn't even be in the house because I was going to get attacked. So just stuff like that. So I didn't have safety at home, I didn't have safety at school, and that was a good sign. If you tend to have had some anxiety is another sign. Maybe anxiety is your sensation, but chronic pain sufferers often will also have anxiety, hypervigilance, those kind of things. So those are some of the ways that you can know that your sensations are neuroplastic, which means brain change. And it's great news, because if it's not a medical physical issue, then you can get better, and you will get better if you follow this kind of mind-body process, and you follow it with a wide time horizon, an optimistic mind, a confidence, a curiosity, and take it moment by moment, breath by breath. So thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up and comment. And you're also invited to a free Zoom Q&A/workshop on July 16th. From 8 to 9 p.m. or 8 to 9:30, we'll see how it goes. July 16th, that's Eastern Standard Time. And it's just going to be a basic Q&A. So if you want to even send me a question or drop a question in the comments that you'd like to show up and talk about. And I'm just doing it as a way to answer some folks' questions versus having folks walk around with questions. And sometimes people say, oh, this is a stupid question. It's not stupid at all. Like, ask anything, and I'll do my best from my experience and my training to give you a clear and actionable answer. So keep going, keep moving forward on your journey of recovery, and I'll see you in the next video.